So we are live today to talk about some latest gossip in Stephen's case, as well as we could talk about other cases, whatever floats your boat. First, want to say congratulations to Adam Brazil. How do you say his name? And everybody affiliated with Adam's case. I do not follow that case, so I don't know any of the details on that. But I did see that today he was able to take an Alford plea. And so it is wrongfully accused. Whoa. Let me turn that sound down. Somebody who's been in prison, wrongfully accused, and this is the only way he's able to get out. Like I said, I don't know any of the details on his case at all, so I can't discuss it. If there's any of you here that know anything about the case and want to fill us in on it, I'm more than welcome to, more than happy to hear about it. So, but I wasn't online much today, and then when I came and sat down, I saw people talking about that case. So that's fantastic news. Hopefully one of ours are right around the corner there. So as for gossip, this is a gossip page, which we have to remind people of over and over and over again. MAM Gossip. I started this group because there were things that surround the Steven Avery case that the typical follower doesn't care about and doesn't want to hear about. So we don't put any of that kind of stuff on Steven Avery Project. It goes in here. So the thing to discuss is that Carla, his Steven's niece, is once again asking people to donate to a GoFundMe that they always say it is Dolores's PayPal. Dolores doesn't have a PayPal. Dolores doesn't have internet. It is an account that they set up in her name to collect money in her name. Now, this is complicated. All right. Everybody loves Dolores, right? So it is very smart of Carla and her minions to use Dolores. I have no doubt that Dolores's washer dryer unit broke and she needs a new one. Okay, I am not saying that is a lie at all. What my issue is the constant expecting supporters to pay for this stuff. Now, I get it. People want to throw money at this. And this is where we go again, where I always say there's a difference between supporters and fans. Fans just want to have some tie to their favorite TV show. So thinking that they are doing something for Dolores, it makes them think like they have a part in this Making a Murderer universe. I get wanting to help Dolores. I truly do. I myself, last August, so a year ago, I went and visited Dolores. I brought her cash. I brought her a Visa card. I looked into at one point seeing if I could set up an account at a grocery store where people could send money directly to the grocery store and then Dolores would be able to get her groceries. I get wanting to take care of Dolores. But this family is consistently bilking money out of supporters and crying poor when they're not. Because look at the post that Earl's daughter caused the controversy of last week or whatever, where she's like, he's single and it's him on a jet ski. They have multiple jet skis. All these people have multiple homes. They have multiple toys, golf carts, boats, guns. They can take care of Dolores themselves. Here's another thing. You can, if you just want to throw money at something, then you can give it to Steven. And Steven then could arrange for money to go to his mom. It doesn't need to go through Carla's hands or Earl's hands. You could donate money to Kathleen Zellner in Steven's name. And then money from that could be used for Dolores. It's the constant going through Carla where we know all that money hasn't gone where they say it's going to. Same thing with Barb. Why would you do anything affiliated with Barb when she's had to remove her GoFundMe? Because all that money that's supposed to be sitting there waiting for Brendan, where did it go? Barb won't say. But I know she spent some of that money. I know for a fact. So they do it in such a way that if you speak out against it, then they're going to say, oh, you're horrible, not wanting poor Dolores to be helped. No, the problem is that the family could help her. And they're once again collecting from supporters. And then the money's not all going to her. I know from talking to a family member a couple years ago, they had told me that Dolores had never had air conditioning, ever. Not a window unit, no air conditioning. She's miserable. I'm like, you're kidding me. And they said that they had said to Chuck and Earl on multiple occasions, she should have an air conditioner. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. So then I said I was going to bring Dolores an air conditioner. And then poof, all of a sudden Chuck and Earl got Dolores an air conditioner. Same thing happened that I said on one of these that I was going to get Dolores a new dog. Oh, look, after I said that, somebody got her a dog. Making sure, they do that before I do. But difference is I'm not asking anybody to give me money for an air conditioner to give to Dolores. I was just going to give her an air conditioner. Just like I gave her the cash and I gave her the Visa card, which then Carla will later say, has later said that, no, I didn't, and claimed I lied. I have somebody who was with me when I gave Dolores the money. Dolores also wrote it down in a book of what I gave her, in a notebook of what I gave her and how much. And I knew that Dolores doesn't trust Carla. And I know somebody has stolen money from Dolores. So do you think Dolores is going to be telling these people all the time when she has money? No, because I take it. Who takes it? I'm not going to say. But Steven told me who took it. So it's just upsetting that once again they try and get stuff out of the supporters when they should be taking care of Dolores themselves. Look at when Carla did the whole Christmas thing. And then Carla would be bragging about like the stuff she put in Dolores's bathroom. All that did for me, maybe I'm just a negative Nancy, but it's like, are you fucking kidding me right now? You do this now? Why didn't she have all this stuff so it made it so she was able to sit down and get up from the toilet easily and get into the bathtub, that she had something to hold on to? So y'all just totally ignored her and did nothing until now you want to bilk the fans out of money. And now you have to buy some of these things, because if Dolores didn't get anything, then it would, you know, the jig would be up. Everybody would know for sure. So of course Dolores is going to get some things. But I just think it looks horrible that this family, other than Dolores and Alan and Barb, they abandoned Stephen. They never went to visit him, had nothing to do with him. They would tell people Stephen was guilty. They went on their merry way in life. Oh, sure, Carla was at court dates, but that's because there's camera crews there. Never went to visit. I can show you the visitor logs that they didn't go until Making a Murderer came out and was a success. And now all of a sudden they all wanted to talk to Stephen. And ever since then, they've been riding the fans to give them money and attention. Meanwhile, Stephen and Brendan are sitting in prison. It's just sickening to me. It really is. And I know they've got their little spies that are in this group, and they'll be watching this. Hi, Carla. Hi, Sandra. And they will use this video to try and poison Stephen against me, which they may have been successful already. I haven't heard from Stephen since June. So, but in the years that I've talked with Stephen, we've gone months without speaking. So I don't know if he's currently mad at me or not, because they just, can't survive unless Stephen hates me for whatever reason. And it doesn't change my life one way or another if Stephen's talking to me or not. I believe in Stephen's innocence, and I will continue saying so, and trying to bring awareness to his case and other cases. Before I move on to another topic, let me scroll and see if anybody has anything to add. Kristen says, I just told Barb to tell the brothers to sell their toys and support their mom. Yeah, Kristen, what the hell did Barb even say to you? Because the balls on that woman. The balls. Julie says, as mechanically inclined as her sons are, they could easily fix a washer or a dryer. My daughter fixed her washer for less than $15, and she fixed her dryer for under $20. I fixed a heat element in a gas dryer for $30. All these machines are over 15 years old. My daughter just Googled YouTube and learned herself. It can be done. Yeah, that stuff can be amazing. All this stuff you can find on there that are tutorials that take you through everything. And I'm fine with Dolores getting a new washer dryer. My issue is that all that Carla and Earl ever seem to want to do is get money out of supporters for things, when they could just do it themselves and take care of Dolores, which they should be doing. And that's all Stephen cares about. Is not all Stephen cares about. Stephen loves his mother and wants his mother looked after. So I could see, so now they're going to show Stephen this or tell Stephen this, or they won't show him. They'll play it for him. on a phone call. I'm not trying to prevent Dolores from having a washer dryer. My issue, again, is because they're always bilking supporters out of money. And they will get far more money than it would cost for a washer dryer. And where does all that money go? Because I have witnessed Carla going, she does the some for me, some for you. So, Kristen says, maybe you should say that you'll bring a washer and dryer and maybe the family will actually do it. Yeah, good point. Deborah says, gee, with all the kids and grandkids, they could get her one. My nephew got his nan a new one and he's not rich at all. Yeah, I mean, a used washer and dryer, especially, you always have to remember that Dolores lives in a trailer. So what they're talking about she has is a stackable washer dryer. So it's all together in one big thing like you would get for a college dorm, right? So it's not going to be all that much. So wasn't one of the things that Carla was trying to get at Christmas was a carpet shampooer? And then didn't we later find out that whatever Carla got for Dolores was a piece of shit and broke already, and now they had to get another one? So, so what was that? So was that, well, I'm not even going to go into that because then that's me just coming up with stories that there's no truth to. So there's no point in me even trying to speculate. Kristen says, Carla's soliciting for a washer and dryer now. Just wait. Christmas is 4 months away. Never ending cycle. Right. Ugh. Kat says she wanted her 30 seconds of fame. Deborah says, love Google. Fix my own car with Google. Oh my God. Kristen said she had nothing to do with CC asking fans for money, but that she is sad my life is so full of hate and I need more love. I'll PM you the screenshots if you want. How are you full of hate? Barb, if you're watching this, how is that full of hate? Barb, why don't you just take care of your mom yourself? Oh, right. That's because your mom doesn't like you. Barb, why are you so full of hate that you keep Brendan in prison to protect Bobby and Scott? Because of you, Barb, that Brendan's in prison. That you lie and protect Scott and Bobby. So how dare you say anybody else is full of hate when you obviously must hate Brendan? Because why would you keep Brendan in prison? Why did you steal that boy's life? You stole your brother's life. Why would you be with a man who said if Brendan got out on bond, he would make Brendan violate that so he would go back into prison? That sounds very hateful. You're with a man who said he was going to put your brother in the ground. Pretty hateful. Paula says, in one breath, we are told that Dolores and Al are private people, which I believe. Why would Carla broadcast to the world they cannot afford something and ask for money? To me, she is abusing and taking advantage of Mom, Pa Avery. Should adult protection be notified? Well, yeah, Al and Dolores are very private, and it really bothers me when you see that Carla has been able to drag Dolores out to something. Because I know another time that I was up at the salvage yard, and this was before the first Manitowoc rally, which I organized. And so I was talking with Dolores because I had talked to Stephen, and Stephen really, really wanted his mother to go to the rally. And so Dolores was telling me, Stephen really wants me to go, but I really don't want to go. That, she has a hard time walking and all that, and she doesn't want to go. And then Carla did what she did, and I was no part of the rally. And you see, there's Dolores forced to, sit out there as a prop because, it's the one thing that everybody loves. And it's, what Stephen cares about the most is Dolores. So let's keep Dolores around us because it, gives us some kind of credibility. But meanwhile, when the cameras are off, or the tension's not needed, are they taking care of Dolores? No. Mariah says exactly what I said. Where does the remainder of the money go? Miley says this is elder abuse, in my opinion. Well, and Dolores lives on her own. This is something Carla always gets mad at when I say, but Dolores and Alan really don't live together. Al stays up in Crivets, and Dolores stays at the salvage yard. I am not saying they're not a together couple or anything like that. Just he prefers being in Crivets. Dolores doesn't particularly like it. She likes to be at her trailer. It's where she's been. It's what she wants to stay there. So that's where she is. So both of them are on their own for the most part. And they're happy that way. They're no muss, no fuss. Kristen says, this is from Barb to me. I have no involvement in that whatsoever, but I make enough for my bills and money to go see my son. I sure cannot dish out money. And the people that do donate, that is totally up to them. They don't have to. They don't have to. They want to. Right. They want to. I get that. Because people know about how horrible this injustice is, and they want to do something, anything. Money should be going to Stephen. Money should be going to Brendan. They're the ones that are in prison. I know Stephen has told me, because Carla asks him for money, and he's like, get a job. They're free. So if you need, then go get another job. That's the way Stephen looks at it. So she makes enough for her bills and money to go see her son. But she's always taking money from fans to go see her son. Gift cards for gas and whatnot. I do not understand how anybody at this point, with everything that's been uncovered on this case, on why they would support Barb on anything. You can support Brendan. Now, if you're on bad terms with Barb, you can't support Brendan because Barb will tell him not to have anything to do with you. But send him money, put money in his commissary. Why would you give it to Barb to go visit him? Just put it in his commissary. Jen says, hey, Jax, just tuning in. What's going on? Just talking about the gossip that got posted, the drama that was posted today in Gossip of the family asking for money for Dolores. So let me say again, I have no doubt that Dolores needs a washer and dryer. My problem is the people that have continually stolen money are the ones that are always asking for it. So they'll take in how much money, and then they'll buy her some piece of shit, but they have more money than it cost for that. And where does the rest of that money go? Now, because I'm doing this video, they'll do something and show the proof that they did it to make it out like, oh, see, I was wrong and blah, blah, blah. It's only because I'm speaking out. And we know they have their rats in here. I have rats in their groups. Whatever. Okay. Just making sure there weren't any other comments. So that's what I came on here to talk about first, is that whole thing. And just leave it at that, that I'm going to be made into, I'm a horrible, mean, nasty person because, oh, I'm saying something negative about Dolores, which I'm not. I'm happy if Dolores is taken care of. So my problem is the family that steals money from fans. As for Steven's case, sorry, that's a political thing. Nothing new on Steven's case. We're still waiting on Judge Flowers to rule, and I guess there is no deadline. Sorry. I'm going to turn that down the rest of the way, turn my sound off my phone. Yeah, Kristen, who knew your post would get so blown up? And I don't know if you've seen, I've been sent the screenshots. I think somebody did post some screenshots here of, somebody sent Carla the screenshots of your post, and she posted it over there, and then I saw a whole bunch of people blasting it. Don't care. So nothing new on Steven's case, nothing new on Brendan's case. Trisha says, I wonder if Barb has Brendan release funds from his commissary to her. Right, he could. Kristen says, you should see some of the messages I got. Someone even threatened my babies. Oh my God. Just know, Kristen, that over my 3 years of being attacked by Carla and her minions, it's always just been threats. Nobody's ever done anything. I did see somebody had made a post here in Gossip where they called us or called people, bad language alert, cunts, and then referred to people as in here as keyboard warriors, which I thought was really funny because that's all anybody is on the internet, are keyboard warriors. So that person making that post, you're a keyboard warrior. Both sides, it's people talking shit. No, you're not doing anything. You're just talking shit. I've been threatened, I don't know how many times. That guy Chad Keller he called me a cunt and said he was going to punch me in the face. Brett Condon threatened to send me something, and said I'd be easy enough to find, and said all this stuff to me. And actually a police report was filed on that one. Everybody's a keyboard warrior. It's just stupid. Kristen's in Canada. It's just so dumb. Other cases. Let's go to other cases. Sorry for the yawning. Kent Pellegrini I'd gone to court for him a couple months ago, and we still haven't heard back. Hopefully hear on his case by the end of next month. There's a court date for Melissa Kaluzinski. That is the 14th, so in 2 weeks. Sadly, I won't be able to attend, which really bums me out, because I will already be at an event in Southern Illinois, a political event, and so I will be down near Melissa's prison at that time. So, but I will be following it, and we'll update you all on what happens at Melissa's hearing on the 14th. And then in the Marnie Yang case, it keeps getting pushed back and back and back because people get added to the team. So I believe the filing for Marnie isn't happening until sometime in September now. So, and we've talked about in a prior live on here, let me go to that, because I talked to Tammy for a while today, and Tammy said if I did go live on here today, she wanted me to remind you all Deborah, who popped up with a hi the other night? My computer is going really slow. But okay, so Tammy founded a publishing house called Words Matter Publishing. So that's WMP. And so from Words Matter Publishing, she also then started WMP Justice Review, where she's put together this team of experts who will work on different injustice cases, which I am a part of. And so from there now, she started WMP Justice Review Citizen Investigators, which there are 17 people wanting to join this Facebook group. So let me see how many of them are from here. So we've got Ann Miller and Catherine McGuire Richards, not you, Tanya Henry, who Tanya is with the Adam Brazil case that I talked about earlier, that he took a offered plea and is going free. So Tanya Henry, Tammy Rockwell, Bree Robson, Tina McFall, Peggy McDaniel, Jamie Lucky Gorgon, Rita Corner, Angela Brown McDougall, Allie Beckingham, Dawn Ferguson, Tabby Stone. Well, we don't have any groups in common, but we have a mutual friend of Debbie Glover, who I don't know if you're still here on the live, and her name is Charlotte Jane Glanville. Debbie Conway Stover, who I went to high school with, and junior high. Judith McKenzie. All right, so there's all these people that are waiting to get approved into the Citizens Investigators group. But you have to join first and pay a membership fee. So you have to go to marnieyang.com. Let me put that in here again. marnieyang.com. And then up top on there to the left of Marnie's name, it says CI Group. So here's the link for that. And then from there, you would click register. And here's the link for that. And that's where you would then pay the $10 membership fee. And then after that $10 has been paid, Tammy will see that. And then if you're already waiting to get into this justice review, wait, I should go to this and not the thing of members. This is the Facebook. Then Tammy would approve you to get in here into the CI group. And so what the CI group is like right now we're working on the Marnie Yang case. Tammy's working on several other cases, but so she's posting in here different things on Marnie's case where she's put 911 calls, she's put crime scene photos, she'll be putting police reports, all this different kind of evidence that we want you to look through and see if your fresh eyes will see something that the people that have been studying this case for the last 3 years. Now, Marnie's been in prison for 10, but Tammy's been working on the case with her review team for about 3 years, I believe. So, we want you looking at all this evidence, and we have to do it this way with the $10 fee because to have all these different experts that are going to testify on Marnie's behalf when it gets to that point, it costs money. So this $10 per person will go to the Justice Review team to then pay for ballistics expert, to pay for her attorney. And then if money comes in above and beyond what is needed for Marnie's case, it will be used for others that the Justice Review team wants to be able to take on as many cases as they can per year to help people who otherwise wouldn't be able to get these kinds of experts looking into their case. And we know from Stephen's case and like what Carol Ann Fitzgerald uncovered that, you know, it's good to have those fresh eyes on a case. So, and I know, yes, I'll be looked at as I'm a hypocrite because I just sat there the whole beginning of this video talking about the family asking for money, and here I am telling you to go pay this $10 for this. But that money truly is going to go to help these cases. And I don't get that money before anybody says anything. I mean, I'm part of the Justice Review team, but everything I do is just me doing it because I'm an activist. I'm an advocate. I'm not paid for doing any of this stuff. So Tammy now has, there's going to be a Words Matter Publishing channel on Roku, which I don't know anything about Roku. And so Tammy's been working very hard on it. She also wanted me to say anybody that's been sending her stuff or whatever, she's been very busy this last week working on the WMP network. So she can get that live. She did talk to me at length today about me doing a show on her network. So I need to put together what I would be doing to have my own show on her WMP network on Roku. So that's one of my assignments tonight from Tammy, that she wants me to think about it and like write a treatment on what my show would consist of. And Tammy is just somebody that the woman just wants to help people. It may have started with Marnie, but she's looking at other cases and then all the stuff she does for the genocide in South Africa. And she's just a fascinating woman. So I put all that stuff, the links on there. Join if you want. I do want to warn you that if you do join, she does have at least one crime scene photo on there that shows the victim. Now, there are worse pictures than what's been posted. I do not believe Tammy's ever going to post the way graphic photos of Ronnie Ryder, who is the victim in the Marnie Ying case. So if that's something that's going to bother you, just be warned that photograph is in there. Tammy also wanted me to thank those of you from Gossip who have been going over the crime scene photos and listening to the 911 calls and such. And Marnie herself too, when I visited her last week. They're very pleased with the responses that they've gotten from you all. And I did talk to Tammy today about some of the audio files that she posted that people weren't able to access them. So she did fix that. So if you tried to play the Sean Gale audio files before and couldn't get them, you should be able to now. Let me scroll through your stuff. Miley says, yeah, get a damn job. Natalie says, hey, Jax from Scotland. Hello, Scotland. What's the latest update from Kathleen on the case? Haven't seen anything for a while. There's nothing, Natalie. We're still waiting on the judge. So that's why you haven't seen anything. As soon as something happens, we'll be blasting it everywhere. It'll go on Stephen Avery Project. It'll go here. We'll go live. Anytime there's ever been a filing, we get it right away and we go live and read it with y'all and post it. So, but that's the sadness of our judicial system here in the States, that this crap takes forever, years. So much time when nothing happens. And these people rot away and lose their life. Debbie says, I know Charlotte. Well, Debbie, let her know how to properly join the CI group. Christina says, the CI group is very interesting. If anyone on here would like to try to contribute to righting a wrong, it's a good place to start. And Christina, you've pointed out a whole bunch of stuff. And the wording that Marnie used, because Tammy has filled her in on some of the things that people have posted in there. Marnie likes that people are taking a clinical look at it, is the way that she worded it. Marnie is so used to everybody thinks she's a killer. Because everything out there in the public, we've gone over this a million times, everything out there is, she is so guilty because she's never told her side of the story, ever. She's never been given that opportunity. So she always just expects people to look at the stuff and go, Marnie did it, And so to hear the way that you all have been looking at the evidence that you've been shown so far, it gives her some peace of mind, and for Marnie right now, she's getting really anxious, I guess would be, because she knows it's gearing up to a filing. you know, and she gets herself all ready and then it gets postponed again. And, you know, so she's on pins and needles right now, and then like wants to be excited, but then doesn't want to be excited because if it gets put off again. So in her mind is going a mile a minute, and she's so intelligent, so smart. She needs to be kept busy at all times. And just her mind is going on when this case breaks, because when this filing happens, it will make national news. It will make world news, since Sean Gale lives in England now, I believe. So, and when it first comes out, it's going to again, you know, open all those wounds where people are just going to say she's a killer. And not only is she a killer, the woman was 7 months pregnant or whatever. So she's a baby killer. And she's also got 3 children that are out here in the world that Marnie doesn't have the ability to protect. And while her children are adults now, they're still her babies that, you know, they're going to have news reporters following them. There's also, as we've talked about before, the My Mom Marnie book that her 3 kids wrote, that you can purchase that on the Marnie Ng website. It's not a very long book. You know, I was able to read it in a couple hours. It's 120 pages. Oh, that reminds me. What did Marnie just told me? She talked about one of the pictures that's in this book. Now I can't remember what picture she was talking about and why she was talking about it. She had just said the picture was in the book. But anyway, so, you know, if you want it, but don't misunderstand, this book is called My Mom Marnie. So this is the kid's story. This is not anything really about the case. This is what happened to these children when law enforcement were trying to take her mom down, or take their mom down. So, and then I still keep meaning to do this. You can't even see it on here. But Marnie, because it's so light on here, so I keep saying I should retrace it and make it darker. In Marnie's case, it's a gun related. And my boyfriend actually has the same kind of gun that was used. They claim was used. And so I've held it. I keep meaning to have him take me to a range so I can shoot it for myself, which, if you knew me and my activism, I'm actually a gun reform person. I've actually worked with the March for Life kids, and I am on the exec board of the Brady campaign. But we're not going to get into politics. So I had Marnie on a visit. She drew her hand. So she put her hand down on this piece of paper and drew her hand, you know, and because I want to show people how teeny tiny, because Marnie's like, I don't even know if she's 5 feet tall. She's really little. And so like I've put my hand up to Marnie's hand, and so her fingertips come to like here on my hand. I kid you not. Her hand is so teeny tiny. So yeah, so, and I just keep this with the book so I don't lose it. So I really need to do that so you guys can see exactly how little Marnie's hands are, and we'll put it in the CI group. Let me scroll. Those are all my links. Hi, Connie. You love Stephen's attorney, Kathleen? Yeah, she's, what a powerhouse that woman is. Tori says, a local case I'm involved in uses, I don't know if that's a typo, Patreon. That helps us with case files, costs to the podcast, etc. So I totally understand WMP setup. Debbie says, ugh, does he? He better pray I don't see him, LOL. Yeah, Sean Gale. I live in Illinois. I am in a Chicago suburb. And so the Marnie Yang case is a case from Illinois. And she was, I don't even know if you call it dating. It's basically just a regular hookup, I guess. So she was with Sean Gale, who, for here in Illinois, Sean Gale is like a god because he is part of the 1985 Chicago Bears team that won the Super Bowl in January of '86. And so it was huge. And, they had this video, this Super Bowl shuffle. Sean Gale's part of that. So Sean had, at the time of Ronnie Ryder's death, because Ronnie was one of Sean's longest hookups. I don't even know, because he just basically had sex with these women. That's it. If these women went anywhere with Sean, they had to pay their own way. It's not like he really took them anywhere and stuff. So Ronnie was one of the 18, and she was 7 or 8 months pregnant with Sean's baby. And somebody shot her to death, which killed her and the baby. She had been pregnant by Sean Gale 2 times prior to this, and Sean made her have an abortion. He's had other women have abortions. He does not like children, does not want children, does not want to ever be married. That's understood. So when Ronnie got pregnant this time, she hid her pregnancy from Sean until it was past the date, because you can only get an abortion until X amount of weeks of pregnancy. Don't listen to Republicans who say you can have an abortion all the way up until you have the baby, or even it's been said that once you have a baby that the doctor will still kill the baby upon birth if the woman wants. That doesn't happen. None of that happens. None of that's true. So she hid the pregnancy because she was 40 or in her 40s and knew this was going to be like her last opportunity to have a baby. And so Marnie was one of the 18 girls, and Marnie also did real estate deals with Sean. So they were business partners as well. And so when this happened 10 plus years ago, Marnie's been in prison 10 years. But I believe the case itself was 2 years prior to that. So you're talking 12, 13 years ago. People were also nervous about it being like an O.J. Simpson case, so it's the black athlete, famous athlete, and the white woman who ends up dead. So, but there's a whole lot out there to claim Marnie's guilt, but I know from sitting with the legal team, from the Justice Review team, that she is innocent. But we're not allowed to talk about it until after the filing. Once the filing happens, then we'll be able to go into everything. Oh, and then what I was getting at too is Sean Gale lives in England now because he's a sports broadcaster for football in England, I guess. Miley says, that's right. None of us have a dog in Marnie's fight. I feel badly for her kids. And Debbie says, me too. Miley says, and yeah, Sean moves to England. That's special. Mm-hmm. Miley says, I have to say that I just got home from work when this live started. I'm always exhausted when I get home, but I get worked up when watching Jack's live. So I'm cleaning the crap out of my house while I listen. Can you come clean my house too? Paula says, the baby sounds like a motive to me. Mm-hmm. So I cannot wait until we can talk about Marnie's case. You can Google her. There are some documentaries or whatever, the one episode things on her case that they totally lie. And, so it's things like, and I've talked about this before, they make it out like when Ronnie was shot, and so she's lying on her back and cradling her belly for cradling her baby. And when you look at the crime scene photos, she's on her stomach. That didn't happen. And this isn't saying anything negative about Ronnie, like, oh, she didn't care about her baby. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying when you watch that and they make it out where she's laying on her back, and then you look at the crime scene photo and she's laying on her stomach, she's got her keys in her hand and a backpack on her back and her purse is over here, that her hands were nowhere near her stomach. And so that's the only thing that I can say on that since I can't go into stuff. But Marnie, it's a ineffective assistance of counsel, and there's doctored evidence and coerced confession and everything. And then the manipulation of her kids and, especially her one son. So I've only met her daughter and I've met her dad. So, and then Marnie is in the same prison that Melissa Kaluzinski is. So when I go, I visit them both, but you can only visit one at a time. So, I'm supposed to go, I typically go every other Wednesday, but now I can't go next week because I've got a activist conference call I have to do. And then I have this documentary crew that's been filming me for like the last year or so. And they want to come film me. I don't know. So I can't go next week. And then the week after that is when I'm down in Springfield for a political event, or a couple political events, because I'm down there for 2 days. And I'm going to try, and if I have some time, to get away and go visit for a little bit. If not, then I'll go back the next week. But it's just hard too, because it's so to the prison, it's about a 2.5 hour drive for me. And then where I go, when I go to Springfield, that's another like 20 minutes from the prison, 20 minutes, half hour, so 3 hour one way. So that's why I go like every other week. I don't want to go every week because, 6 hours of driving, gas, tolls, and just driving all that time. But I shouldn't complain, because I'm going to a prison, and That's like for Marnie and Melissa, that's the only time they get to be in air conditioning. And it's been so hot here. And I'm, Northern Illinois. They're in Southern Illinois, so it's hotter for them than it is for me. And it's, I talked to both of them about that last week and just how miserable it is and how hot. So when they get a visitor, the visitor, it's a whole building that's just one big visiting room. It's like the only place in the prison that's air conditioned. So even if I can only visit for an hour, if I was already in Springfield, like in between my events there, and could pop in for an hour to see one, an hour to the other, it's getting them out of the heat. Ugh. Miley, fuck buddy, excuse my language. So Brianne, what's the documentary about? And Debbie replied, Marnie Yang. Yeah. So, but like I said, you watch it and you'll come away with she's guilty. So, but then if you join the CI group, but remember, first you have to go to the Marnie Yang website and you have to pay the $10, and then Tammy would approve you into this Facebook CI group where she's doling out the evidence a little bit at a time, and you'll be able to see more about it. So, all right, I have been on for an hour, and it's Friday night. Not that I have plans, but so I will end this here. Just a reminder again for everyone that this is a gossip page. So that's why we were talking about the latest gossip in Stephen's case. If you're somebody who doesn't like gossip, well, that's what Steven Avery Project is for. And at Steven Avery Project, we just post, the facts, what's going on with the case. We don't go into any of this other bullshit. And we also at Steven Avery Project don't talk about the other cases. Sometimes I'll sneak something in there because I would really like these other cases to get a spotlight, because again, you don't know what fresh eyes can see. And, if you'd be able to help free, Melissa Kalyazinski or Marnie Yang or any of the other cases that we'll talk about. Or if you have a case that you want to talk about, bring it up. Gossip is more open. Like you'll see, I'll post links all the time to not even a wrongful conviction, like, police shooting, or when we post serial killer stuff, or, stuff like that, so we're more open here, not just Steven all the time. So, all right, I guess I'm going to go veg out and watch some TV. Don't know what I'll watch. I've already vegged out this week and watched all of Orange is the New Black, and I watched all of Wentworth. So if you haven't seen either of those, I recommend them. Wentworth, I thought went a little too over the top, soap opera, weird drama stuff. Orange is the New Black, it was its final season. So sad it's over. All right. I'm going on and on and on, and I'm really tired. So have a good weekend, everybody. And as soon as anything comes out on any of these cases, we'll get it posted. Talk to you soon.